Lots to take in and think about there. I'm joined now from Edinburgh by Shireen Chambers, chair of the charity Tree Aid. What, Shireen, will happen if illegal logging continues at this pace?
Well, we could see what has happened in Africa, in the parts of the world where Tree Aid work, where the desert is slowly encroaching on the forest, and ultimately it means that people are suffering from lack of food because they can't grow their crops. The riverbanks are eroding and the soil isn't holding the water. Tree Aid's strapline is trees mean life, and in certain parts of the world that is exactly what they do.
What impact does legal logging have on both the environment and the people that you're talking about?
Sorry, legal logging?
Legal logging.
Yeah, legal logging is fine. Trees are a very sustainable product as long as they're managed wisely. And in the parts of Africa and the Sahel where Tree Aid is working, we're planting millions of trees with the communities there. And they're using them, they're being trained, they're given tools. The communities then build up enterprises to get food from the trees themselves. But the trees also then improve the soil beneath where they can grow agricultural crops. So they're not, in a sense, removing a lot of the trees for firewood anymore. Some of them still are, but they're learning to use the trees much more wisely for the products that they can give, setting up enterprises with shea butter or nuts, for example. But where logging is legal, it is done sustainably. Never take more out of a forest than would grow in any year.
We learnt last night from Juliette Bremner's report in the Ukraine that approximately 40% of the wood being sold to the EU from Ukraine is believed to be illegally cut. Do we need to change our relationship with wood in the same way that we have done with plastic? Do we need to think about where the wood's coming from and our reliance on it, especially cheap wood?
Absolutely, I think we do. We don't need to stop our relationship with wood, but we absolutely do need to think about it. We certainly in first world countries need to be doing much more to think about the type of wood that we're using and what we're using it for. It's a very, very forgivable product. It's a product that can be used for many things, from clothing to paper to timber to build our houses. But we need to be very careful how we're using it, and we need to use it sustainably. We need to not be burning wood in the first instance that could be used for something else first. We need to stop buying cheap timber that will be disposed of in landfills when we've finished with it. We need to perhaps think about how much paper and tissue we're using.
Shireen Chambers, lots to think about there, as I said earlier. Thank you very much. Thank you. And you can watch those reports I was talking about in full, and they are well worth a watch on our website, itv.com/news.